teleported straight to Shatrath, and I started heading somewhere where I knew there was a quest I wanted to do, Old Man Barlow. He had fishing dailies with one specific reward that I had in mind. And now walking over to him was a little bit sketchy because these enemies in this zone were higher level than me. They were skull level mobs. So I wasn't sure yet if I could fight them or not, but I just ran over to the Old Man Barlow and he had no quests. And I wasn't sure what level these quests would pop up. So I would just come back every so often and check, I guess. But with this happening, I needed a new goal now. So I went and I started looking at achievements, and I saw one that I needed to fish up a pet named Mr. Pinchy. And I could do that here in the forest, but the problem was you could only fish him up in 3 different lakes in this forest. They're all on top of really big hills, and you know, it just looks like you kind of need a flying mount to get up there. Luckily, I did find a spot I was able to parkour myself up by using my disengage, and the pools that it said I could fish him up from, they said they required level 15, but I was still able to fish from it. Fishing pools were still disappearing, and I was still getting lobsters. So it seemed like it was working anyway, but eventually no more of these fishing pools were spawning, and I couldn't get to the other lakes that had them. So for now, I just had to move on and try to come back later. So I ran over to Zangermarsh. There's tons of water in Zangermarsh, so I was sure that there would be tons of cool fishing. And the enemies in Zangermarsh were my level again, so I could kill them myself, but I got tired of punching stuff, okay? I just still had no weapon, and it was a little bit frustrating, and well, I kind of realized I never made a rule against having a pet, so I just went ahead and I tamed one of those big water spiders, and now I can have a pet fight for me since I had no weapon. And once in Zangermarsh, I did pretty quickly get up to 75 outland fishing. So technically in the rules, I could move on to Northrend whenever I wanted, but I wanted to get as much done here as I could first. Now of these achievements, there's the Mr. Pinchy one, and there's an achievement for all of Old Man Barlow's dailies, which we can't even do any of them yet, so that's going to take a while. There's another one called the Lurker Above achievement, which is inside of a Burning Crusade raid, so I don't think we're high enough level to go in and solo raids yet, so we're probably going to have to put that one on the back burner as well. But there was the Outland Angler, which was to fish up fish from specific pools in Outland, and while I already had a few of these done just from being here and already going for stuff, I needed a bluefish school, a mudfish school, and a darter school. I could find both bluefish and mudfish in Nagrand, so I headed there first. Everything in Nagrand was a higher level than me as well, so I would have to sneak around, and I ran all the way to Garadar. I think I said that name right. And I found both bluefish and mudfish right next to each other, but there was an elemental in the way, and I tried to battle him, but I could not win without a weapon still, so I just tried to sneak around just because I needed one cast, and I just barely got it, and that would leave just the darter school of fish that I needed to catch for this achievement, and that one I could find back in the forest. I also had been selling stuff on the auction house this whole time, and my deviant fish were actually selling for a few thousand gold, so I was kind of getting some money, but I don't really need money for a whole lot because I can't use the auction house myself, and I'm just buying stuff from vendors. But hey, having a lot of money, that could be a good long-term goal. So I headed back to the forest in search of this darter fish school and maybe another shot at Mr. Pinchy. I instantly found the school of fish I was looking for, and even though it said level 15 required, it still worked and I got the Outland Angler achievement. And I tried again for Mr. Pinchy, but just after one pool, no other ones spawned. So I headed back to Zangermarsh because I was going to try to find one more thing. A lot of the schools in Zangermarsh had a lot of this shipwreckage in it, and the boxes that they fished up could have a specific item I was going after. After about 30 to 45 minutes, I got the Weather-Beaten Journal, which would give me the achievement, Fish Don't Leave Footprints, and now I could see fishing pools on my mini-map, which was very nice to have for the future. It's pretty good. But I wanted to get one more shot at Mr. Pinchy, so I headed back, and during this, I did get an achievement for catching 100 fish with the Big Bobber, which gave me my first toy, a reusable Big Bobber. But I really wanted Mr. Pinchy, and this one little grinding spot, it wasn't really working out. And one of the other ones I saw on YouTube had tons of respawning pools, so I could pretty much just stay there infinitely. Problem was, I couldn't get there. But maybe I just couldn't get there on my own. So, you know, I'm on an RP server, so maybe I can get people to do obscure things. I started talking up some people, in Orgrimmar, and finally I convinced somebody to hop on a 2-person mount and let me hitch a ride to this pool up in Outland. It was actually hard too because I had to look for somebody who wasn't max level so that they could also go into Time Walking Burning Crusade to take me, but it worked out and he dropped me off at the spot. And since I didn't know if I was going to be able to get somebody to bring me back, I felt like I couldn't leave until I got this pet. So I stayed here. I fished and I fished and I fished around in circles and circles around this lake for about 5 hours until I finally got him. But I could not use him until level 23. So even that is going to take me a while. So for now, I headed back to Orgrimmar. So in the next episode, my adventure is going to continue into Northrend, and things are hopefully going to expand more, because I know there's a fishing reputation and a lot more to do there. And of course, we're going to come back to Burning Crusade and backtrack all the things that we couldn't do quite yet once we get level appropriate. I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I do plan to make this a series, see how far I can get. Hopefully I can get all the way through War Within, and then hopefully we can see what kind of fishing awaits for us in Midnight and the Last Titan. If you guys want to follow the series for future episodes, make sure you subscribe with the bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
Can you beat WoW by only fishing? Well, yes, some people. You can't even really beat WoW. I think you beat WoW by setting your own personal goals and accomplishments. And for Rodfather here, his goal is to collect all the fishing collectibles and achievements in the game without doing any other content. We are back for another episode of Fish Locked, ladies and gentlemen. My new series where we play through World of Warcraft, but we only do fishing content. If you haven't watched the first episode yet, well, make sure you go check that out so you can get, the full context of how we're playing the game and where we're currently at. Because while last time we were fishing in the old classic zones, as well as we went to the Outland and did a lot of stuff there. But today, our fishing journey takes us to see what we can find in the Northrend. Of course, we're going to be going after everything that's here. There's a whole faction full of fishing rewards that we're going to have to grind reputation for. There's multiple new pets, new quests, and even a mount. So no more wasting time. I headed over to Chromie and I turned on Wrath of the Lich King Time Walking, and then I hopped on the Zeppelin ride to Northrend. We flew smoothly into Borean Tundra, and as soon as I got off the Zeppelin, I ran straight for the shores of Northrend. I wanted to get straight to the different Tuskarr towns so I could figure out where the reputations started and kind of get the flight paths so I could travel around to. So I ran pretty much across the entire southern coast of Northrend. But all these towns were on the coast of Northrend, so I was hitting them along the way, getting the flight points. And we stopped when we got to Kamagua. I think I said that right. I'm not sure. And this was the big hub for the Tuskarr and their faction called the Kaluak. I also don't know if I'm saying that right. So you know what? From now on, I'm probably just going to call them the Tuskarr faction. And the quartermaster for this faction had some great rewards to work towards here. Most notably, we got a penguin pet and a new fishing rod. But for both of these, we would need to get up to Exalted, so this was probably going to take some time. Now, to earn reputation with these Tuskarr, you have to do daily quests. But guess what? The daily quests, they aren't there at first. You have to unlock them by doing different quest lines in the zone. And then once you finish the quest line, it'll unlock the daily quest from now on. So that's pretty much what I did to start. We started over here in the Howling Fjord. This quest line sent me all around the place. I was doing all kinds of stuff, digging up stuff from graves, putting stuff back in graves. I was collecting gambling debts. There was one quest where I was trying to get on a pirate ship and I got completely stuck and I had to character unstuck myself. But boom, we finished Howling Fjord and then we moved into Dragonblight. In Dragonblight, we did the quest line there, we finished it up, and then we unlocked a new daily in Dragonblight. Now also, while I was in Dragonblight, I did end up getting 75 Northrend fishing skill. So now, technically, within my rule set, I can move into Cataclysm whenever I wanted, but we still have a lot to do here in Northrend. We were just getting started. And when I was done with Dragonblight, we headed into Borean Tundra, where we came from.
And when it came to quests that gave reputation, this zone definitely had the most of them. We had quest lines in 4 different areas in the zone. Doing all of these got me up to revered with the Tuskar reputation, as well as getting my character to level 23. And being revered now, I could buy this harpoon from the vendor, but I would have to be level 29 to use it. So again, it'd be a while. But being level 23 now, I wanted to leave Northrend for a minute, so we headed back to Orgrimmar. Because if you remember, in the last episode, we spent the end of the video farming for a pet named Mr. Pinchy, and we eventually got him a number of hours later, but I needed to be level 23 for me to use the item for him. Now that I was level 23, I went to my bank, and I grabbed him. I also realized after making my last video, and some of you pointed it out in the comments as well, if you read the item a little closer, it's actually just a chance at getting the pet, not actually the pet. And this chance at getting the pet only has 3 charges, so if we don't get him in these 3 charges, we have to farm another Mr. Pinchy for hours. And if you fail, you have to wait 4 hours before you can try again. But luckily I got him on the first try. And this makes Mr. Pinchy here our first pet in the Fish Locked Challenge. Also, a complaint that I have, because the pet, his name is clearly Mr. Pinchy. And I wanted to rename him Mr. Pinchy because that's his name. And if you try to do that, it says that the name is inappropriate. Like, I didn't come up with the name, Blizzard, you did. So, like, what are we doing here? Now, while I was here, I went ahead and I did my Orgrimmar fishing daily, which this one sent me to Thunder Ridge and Duratar, where I would electrocute some fish or something like that. And when I finished that, I turned it in and I realized the fishing trainer had a new quest. He told me on this quest that I was too good of a fisherman for him to train anymore. So I would have to go and find his friend, Nat Pagel, in Duskwallow Marsh. And everyone knows Nat Pagel. He's the most famous fisherman in Azeroth. And finally, I'm getting sent on my way to find him. I thought, hey, why not go ahead and just do this now? We get a little break back in the classic zones, so I headed over to Nat Pagel's place in Duskwallow Marsh. And while he has an upgraded hideout spot from how it is in Classic, he still has the same quest that he had to catch rare fish all over the world. So I went ahead and I started out by going to Stranglethorn Vale, and while I was trying to find this rare fish for him, I found more crates to fish up, and, I thought, why not? Maybe we get some more gear, and we did get some more gear, including some shoulders, and I finally, after all this time, got myself a weapon, so I could actually use my abilities now. And even after a ton of fishing, I was still not able to catch this fish that I needed for the quest. And I was so confused because I thought, there's no way it's this rare, right? But I said, whatever, we're gonna prevail. And I left. But I left just to get a change of scenery. We went to Swamp of Sorrows where there was another fish for the Nat Pagel quest. I also just straight up couldn't find it here. And I was fishing here for an hour or so too. It was ridiculous, I thought. The next day, though, I headed back to Orgrimmar to do my daily quest before going back to Northrend, and the daily was just to get more toxic puddlefish. We'd done this one before, but when I turned it in and I opened my bag of shiny things this time, we got the best item that there was to get from it, the jeweled fishing pole. Now, this is the swaggiest item we've gotten so far. I look like a straight up fishing pimp now with this thing, and it had plus 13 fishing skill, which is the same thing that the rod from the Tuskar would have, but the Tuskar rod has underwater breathing, so I still want to get it. And I want to get all the rods anyway, no matter what. Even if it's an upgrade or not, I still got to get them all. I headed up to Northrend now, though, because it was time to hit the Tuskar dailies that we unlocked yesterday. Now, these quests are pretty much just the same ones every day, so I want you to keep in mind that I'm going to do these every day, but I'm probably not going to talk about doing them every day because it is just the same quest over and over again every day. But in Borean Tundra, the daily quest just wants us to take a bunch of baskets of supplies from these Vrykul that are just constantly at war with the Tuskar here. And then after that, we move over to Dragonblight, and for this daily quest, we head into camps of these little wolf pup guys, and we steal 12 of their cubs. Yep, just straight up kidnapping their kids, and we bring them back to the Tuskar. And then when we're in Howling Fjord, we gotta jump in the water, grab some little fishes to use as bait, and then we make these 2 walrus-looking things make love, have babies, something like that. And doing these 3 dailies every day would give me 1,500 reputation. So doing some quick math, it was going to take me about 11 more days to get to Exalted. So again, this is going to be something that I do every day for 11 days. Even if I don't mention it every time I do it, I'm still doing it. And doing these also gives